Hello, and welcome to another blind tasting. As you know, my friend Jose sent me 6 bottles. I've decided to pair them up via random dice roll. I was going to do 1 and 3 of the things he sent me, but he apparently hasn't finished doing photos of number 3. So we're going to do 2 and 4, which was the last remaining set. So you know what this is via looking at the title, which is either up there or down there. I do not know, but half the fun of this is just getting, not just seeing whether I can guess what the hell these things are, but just seeing my reactions to them sight unseen. Like if this happens to be a Mar, for example, but it's behaving very much like I don't know, some other category, that tells you something about the kind of Mar it is, right? So I did give these time to hang out, but then I resealed them, and now I'm unsealing them one more time. So this is sample number 4 and sample 2, and then sample 4. And to make this more fun, Jose gave me some hints to go with for these blind tastings. So sample number 2, which I will be going for first, he says, this spirit sat in glass demijohns, these big jars, right, for nearly 7 years before bottling. And for number 4, this selection was bottled at its uncut strength of 66.2%. So I've got a maturation method, and I have a strength to work with for these two. All right, so let's start with blind sample number 2. Immediately you can see that there is no color on this, which so glass demijohns, you tend to see these in use in a couple of categories. Older spirits, after they've been aged in sort of wetter cellars where all the alcohol has gotten sucked out of them, you would transfer them into demijohns for further maturation until you want to bottle them. Armagnacs do this. Sometimes Scotch will do this, but it's much more rare. But Armagnacs, cognacs will do this. The thing about this is that it has no color on it, which makes me think, it can't be one of those. So what are we looking at instead? My immediate thought is actually Mar. Mar de Gewürztraminer in Alsace routinely uses maturation in glass or steel before bottling, even though there's no sign of oak. You occasionally get in like mezcals and I don't know, distillate from agave, the broader category, maturation in demijohns, but I've never seen one. I don't think I've ever tried one that did that for longer than a year. But I mean, presumably you could keep the stuff in there for longer if you wanted. But we shall see. All right, so starting on sample number 2. My initial suspicion is some kind of Mar, but we shall see. Okay, so on the first nosing, I do not think this is a Mar. Yeah, no. On my first nosing, I think this is agave based. In fact, more than that, I would at the top of my funnel, I am seriously suspicious that this has been distilled in clay. It's kind of hard to explain unless you've had the two side by side, but something distilled in copper or even steel tends to have these sort of very distinct bright notes to them. It's like the difference between something shot digitally and something shot on film. Something distilled in clay, the notes are much muddier. They're much kind of grainier and dirtier, but there's still there's something about them that has its own beauty to it. And I'm getting a little bit of that sort of muddiness of this. So initially I'm getting like river clay, some fruit, but it's hard to nail down the fruit. It's not, what is that? Something almost like pineapple shell, or even like dried pineapple. some fresh asparagus, some green notes, a little top note of like fresh mint, like leafy mint, and then just like leaves, like fresh, fresh forest leaves that kind of pulled off the trees. Even beyond the clay, there was certain minerality to this. Just sense of like rocks and pebbles going into this glass. Sorry if I'm being silent. I'm trying to get a beat on this. There's lots of little details and things going on, and they're all kind of tied into each other. There's almost like a root vegetation note in this. Like a he dug up some fresh carrots or something, but less carroty, more just the root vegetable dirty character of that you would be getting. Maybe like a couple of pine needles, dash of seawater. And more of those sort of vegetal notes, the asparagus, but also maybe some like artichoke heart that's been aging in that sort of vinegary, oily stuff that you see in those cans. Hint of maybe like stewed celery, for lack of a better note. And a certain fruitiness, which is hard to. Part of me wants to say bubblegum, but it's almost like bubblegum removed of the excessive. It's more like used bubblegum. Like you chewed this stuff for 2 hours and you spit it out and you kind of pick it up and smell it. It's kind of like bubblegum. What's left of bubblegum after you've kind of removed all the flavor from it. But it does have that very gentle, fruity touch. It's a very interesting nose. It screams like clay distilled agave to me. I wouldn't call it a seductive or a easy nose in any way, but there is an appeal. There is a slight seductiveness to this in the vegetal, lightly fruity nature of this. On the palate, oh, this is good. Yeah, this is a good one. Sort of all that sort of condensed stuff, which is very difficult to distinguish on the nose, kind of just blows up on the palate. I think this is actually higher strength than I would expect usually expect from a clay distilled mezcal. I wouldn't be surprised if this was getting at 50% or higher. I just don't know. We'll add water to it in a second. What am I getting? Candied grass is kind of the leading note, I would think. A certain minerality, some rocks, river clay. Let me try this one more time. A certain citrus note, but it's not really citrus. It's more like a citric tobacco note. So Oriental tobaccos with a citric element to them, mixed in with the grassiness, the candied aspect of this. It's old-fashioned candies, maybe some gummy worms. This is quite good. much like, despite the my emphasis on sort of greeny vegetal terms, this actually doesn't come across as vegetal, really. There's a okay, pineapple note, kiwi note, but it's much more like pineapple juice and kiwi juice than the actual fruits. A little bit of the smoky character, but very, I mean, much more subdued than you get in a lot of mezcals. Sort of grassy, smoky character, almost like a pineapple, shell on fire character to it. I like this a lot. If this is, under $80, under $100 even, I would tell you to go out and buy this. I just don't know. My suspicions are that this is more expensive than that, but we shall see. All right, I'm going to add a squirt of water to this. Try it again. And once it seems settled, I'm gonna try it, one last time after I try number 4. One more squirt, like a half a squirt. Not even that, like a third squirt. Dang, that's good. Okay, let's leave that be for a while and go to number 4. Okay, number 4, here it is, was apparently bottled at uncut strength of 66.2%. Now, with a strength that high, I'm immediately thinking of like rum. There's not a lot of malts or blends that get up that high. Not a lot of grain whiskeys even that get up that high. Rums do that. Some American whiskeys do that. So maybe some ryes or bourbons can do that. But I'm immediately thinking of like some of the rums that are pushing 70%. So that's kind of what I'm expecting. But we shall see what we get. Okay. Okay, it's not a rum. I'm going to say that right up. This is not a rum. What it smells like is good old-fashioned modern bourbon, modern higher corn style bourbon. Not Buffalo Trace. This is more Heaven Hill, Jim Beam style. That being said, I've been trekked before. Like the first blind tasting I did on this channel was Jose sent me a rye from Wilderness Trail, and I thought it was something from, the Sazerac portfolio, some kind of bourbon. So I could be tricked here, and you could laugh at me if I am, but this really smells like, it really smells like Heaven Hill or maybe Beam. So we're getting, what are we getting? Autumn leaves forever. Like it just smells like fall. Like all of the trees have sort of shed their stuff all at once, and you're sort of smelling the leaves and you're smelling the bark, and a little bit of the dried grass. And then on top of that, you're going to sort of pile a whole pile of like freshly baked baklava right in your leaves. So you're going to throw it in your mouth. That's kind of what this is doing. Sort of, leaves and fall and baklava and little bit of a cream of wheat note. So sort of a light graininess. Vanilla, obviously. This isn't doing this sort of layers of oak thing. We're not getting sort of excessive cherryness. I don't think this is very old. But certainly a nutshell aspect of this. Sorry, that's my doorbell. That would be Amazon leaving something, I suppose. Nutshells. Brown sugar. I know brown sugar is like that annoying note that everyone on YouTube uses to talk about bourbons, but I'm kind of getting a brown sugar thing. Vanilla, a little bit of wildflower honey. It smells. It just smells like a really okay, and it's very nippy. So it feels like. I mean, Jose told me the alcohol already, right? It's 66.2%, but it's coming through in the nose. It smells young. Or at least it doesn't smell like the wood has done that much work of sort of building itself into the kind of array that we expect from, Pappies or whatever. It smells a little raw, which I'm okay with. It smells like a bourbon. Okay, that's about all I got on the nose. So to sum up, fall, autumn leaves, honey, baklava, nutshells. Could be beam. I'm not getting that sort of. Usually with beam, I associate a little bit of a green note, a little bit of like a kind of a dill sort of thing going on, and I'm not really getting that. With Booker's, you sometimes get a much cleaner expression of Beam's character, but this doesn't really smell like Booker's either. It smells more elemental than that. All right, on the palate, that is very strong. So I'm not changing my mind. I think this is, maybe Heaven Hill or Beam, maybe a blend between the two. I could easily see this being one of those weird Willet blend concoctions, Noah's Mill or something. Maybe he sent me Noah's Mill and this is, I'm being punked. No, it's okay. So what are we getting? Autumn leaves. The baklava thing. Lots of oak tannins. Stewed, sort of stewed sweet tea. Lots of that. Nutshells that have been caught on fire. Lots of sugary notes. Some grassiness, actually. More grassiness on the palate than there was on the nose. Kind of, and more fruity than it was in the nose. There's some like a, what is that? Almost like a plantain note mixed in with the grassiness. So like fried plantain in there. Very tannic, very forward in my mouth though. Not a lot going on, past my molars. This feels very forward in my mouth. I still think it's a bourbon though. It feels very bourbony. I'm not getting a lot of overt corn notes though. Not any toasted corn. The barrel is ruling the day on this. It's good though. It's fun. What the hell is that fruity note? Yeah, it's like, what the hell is you smothered a plantain in grass. That's all I can do with it. All right, so I'm going to give this several squirts of water. 4. Let's see if 4 is enough. This reminds me of something. What is it? I mean, it really reminds me of like an imaginary blend between Heaven Hill and really good Jim Beam distillate, which you kind of like, you know, with a nod towards like grass and yeah, like a plantain, like a plantain peel more so than actually the actual fruit. Still very hot. Wow. Okay, we'll come back to that in a second. Back to the what I'm pretty sure has to be a agave distillate, a mezcal of some sort. Number 2. So what the water has really brought out the smoky aspect of this. There's a big billowy like clay and smoke thing going on. I'm sorry, my mind is still on sample 4 because I'm so I feel like I know what this is, but it's not hooking on for me. But God, sample 2 is so good. Clay smoke, a little bit of a, what is that? The asparagus note, the hint of celery, and now a little bit of citrus creeping in, like a little lemon, like toasted lemon peel in there, and just a general clay smoky thing. Doesn't develop a whole lot with water, but the smoke brings out the smoke and some little extra details. Mostly the citrus. Yeah, this is good. All right, on the palate. Very similar on the palate, though. So there's some white pepper, those sort of green vegetal notes, the smoky aspect to it. So smoked vegetables, but also smoked clay. The clay itself, there's a sort of river clay aspect to this. Gentle fruitiness, kind of, you know, dried pineapple, something like that. And also that kind of like lemony, very subtle lemony hint running through this. Almost a lactic sour aspect to this too. This is fun. I like this. I don't know. So I'm not enough of a mezcal master by any means to try to identify what this is. I don't think this is an espadín. I will say that. It's not bringing enough of those, you know, classics. There's a little bit of celery in this, but it's not bringing the green pepper and the celery I associate with espadín. I don't think it's a... I don't think it's a Tomás either. It's not bringing the intense vegetality to that of that. Could it be a Tobala? I could see that actually. I don't know. So what I'm going to say is clay distilled mezcal, not espadín based, with an ABV of around, you know, just shy of 50%. Let's say 48%, give or take. And that's kind of all I got. I like this a lot, though. There's a lot of little things going on. They're not sort of shouting at me. It's very calming. It's very drinkable. I would, you know, without difficulty give this 88 points. I think this is pretty dang good. I'm going to write that in the bottle right now, so I stay honest with myself. All right, as you can see, 88 points. Moving on to the sample number 4, which I will be shocked that this is not a bourbon. With the Wilderness Trail, you know, I was hemming and hawing a little bit, so, but this just feels like, you know, modern bourbon. Oh yeah. All right, so the water has brought out a couple of things. So we're still on the autumn leafy thing, which makes me think Heaven Hill. And the nutshelly thing, which makes me think Beam. Oh, what the hell is that? But the plantain note has actually become a full-blown, like, grassy banana note. I think this is Old Forester. No, I don't. I think this is... It feels like someone has blended Old Forester and maybe a little bit of either Beam or Heaven Hill. I would say Heaven Hill, actually, and tried to create something different. I mean, the banana note is really strong now. It's oaky, lots of vanilla, lots of the baklava's definitely still. It's like banana baklava now. Lots of sort of ground pepper. Still no corny notes, which makes me think it's pretty distilled to a pretty serious strength. Not a lot of corny notes coming off the still. No, maybe what the it's still very autumny, which makes it, maybe it's Heaven Hill. Maybe it's just straight, you know, somebody from K&L got a cask of Heaven Hill, and that's what this is. But I've never gotten this much grassy banana from Heaven Hill before. On the palate. So it's very good bourbon. Let's start with that. Very good bourbon. Sort of distilled nutshells. Lots of those autumn touches. Those different kinds of honey. There's some clover honey in there. There's some more floral honey. But there's also some honeydew honey. There's some heavier, like, you know, maltier sorts of honey. But then it's grassy at the same time. Grass, banana, plantain. And now the cherry is starting to come through. A little bit of kirsch note in there. I mean, it's good. It's oh, what would I score this? I'm comfortable giving this an 86 plus out of 100. I think it is extremely good. The you know, obviously the number 2 has a little bit more poise and precision to it, but I mean, this is just a terrific, like, it's a little bit brutal. This even with water, it's brutal, but God, it's good. It feels like having spent some time with it, it feels like an imaginary blend of like, take like Old Forester, 1920, that like some, oh God, like, just like regular old Elijah Craig, just that little Elijah Craig in there. But throw like some bean peanuts in the background, just for fun. That's kind of what I'm getting on this. So, God, if I have to make a choice, I would guess this is a blend. Some sourcer has blended a lot of things to try to get this formula. And I would guess the average age is, I don't think this is older than 8 to 10 years old. I don't think this is super old. Jose has already told you the strength, so I don't have to deal with that. It's going to be a low rye mash bill. I don't think there's any high rye or even wheated stuff going into this. I think it's just maybe a blend of different lower rye style mash bills. That's what I got. So maybe the Willet people. I have no idea. That's my guess. So Forester marries Heaven Hill marries Beam, like that kind of combination. All right, but we're gonna see what these stupid things are. We're gonna see how wrong I am. Number two, I have no hope at all because I don't know distilled agave that well. But number four, I'm hoping maybe I'm in the neighborhood. Oh God, okay. Sample number two. Malbien. This is a black take Papalote, which is an agave I've never had before. K&L Wines pick, 46.7%, so I'm not that far off from the proof. I overestimated a little bit. From Tomás and Emiliano Gutierrez. No idea what this is distilled in. Rested for 7 years in glass. So I will tell you in my notes once I figure out what this was distilled in, how wrong I was. I have no point of reference for this agave because I've never had it before, but I like it. I think this is an 88 point mezcal. Oh, Jesus. Damn it. Number four, Old Forester Single Barrel. Old Forester Barrel Proof Bourbon, Astor Wines pick, 62.2%, aged around 6 years old in Warehouse 1, Floor 1. Damn it! I should have guessed that from the sort of grassy banana notes, which is kind of a Forester thing. But there is that sort of autumn leafy note and the nutshelly note. Damn it! It's these people are really these styles are really closely related. I'm not going to kick myself too hard for this. It's a bourbon. It's a low rye bourbon. Could have done worse. I hope I'm not embarrassing myself too much. 86 plus. I have no idea what the price point is on either of these. But yeah, that's what happened. Malbien, oh God, I've forgotten the name. And I've entered the wrong pin, so I can't see. Malbien Black Tape Papalote and Old Forester Barrel Proof. Both of these Astor picks. And that's what I got. That's how I did. Hope that some of this was entertaining and educational. And thanks for watching, and cheers.